混我西的族在提阿考 TikTok Zoe, Shang Shida za Yi Zigshong. Next neighborhood that I'm going to work on is called Chinese Quarter. Without any further ado, let's get to the neighborhood. So I decided to work on a little bit of this neighborhood off camera, just only the train tracks because they're not really that interesting. This should be an interesting neighborhood to work on because I'm going to be drawing a lot of buildings. 让我们开始。Chinese Quarter is a reference. Well, I wouldn't really consider it a reference. It's more of a parody of one of New Orleans's neighborhoods, French Quarter, which is a very popular neighborhood of the city of New Orleans. French Quarter is home to the infamous street called Bourbon Street, where it has a lot of very fun places. There are so many fun places along Bourbon Street of French Quarter of New Orleans. It has to do with like the French culture, like Cajun style, museums. I'm sure French Quarter has museums, restaurants for sure, bars, just so many fun places in the neighborhood of French Quarter. I came up with the idea of Chinese Quarter. It's just like French Quarter, but Chinese style, museums, restaurants, bars. And for French Quarter, a lot of the buildings there have like balconies, and those balconies have a lot of plants to give the buildings that like fancy, pretty look. French Quarter, it's a really fun place. I actually never been to the French Quarter of New Orleans, but I wish I could visit New Orleans one day. Here are some fictional places I came up with for the neighborhood of Chinese Quarter. Museum of Confucianism, which it's a museum that has to do with the religious ideas made by Confucius. Wheel of Fortune cookie. It's, I guess, like an arcade gaming place. It's like Chuck E. Cheese and any other gaming arcade places, but it's like Chuck E. Cheese, but Chinese version of Chuck E. Cheese. Chinese Folklore and Mythology Museum. It's a museum that has to do with Chinese culture, a bunch of Chinese concepts that existed throughout these years. You know what I'm talking about. We got Joplin Hall, which is like, it's a small place where where musicians perform, and you also get to do comedy shows. It's not it's not a theater or a concert place. Well, it can be a concert hall, but it's mostly a comedy show based place and also a music based place. Yiming Street, it's a street named after the Chinese entrepreneur Zhang Yiming, who is the founder of TikTok and the founder of this company called ByteDance. Oh, I can't forget, Joplin Hall is named after Janis Joplin, who is one of the most famous musicians. We got Michael Jackson Convention Center of TIAC, a convention center named after the King of Pop. And we got TKO Bar. TK is actually an abbreviation for TIAC. Working on the area of Chinese Quarter was quite straightforward because I didn't have to draw a lot of trees. I didn't have to draw a crap ton or a crap load of trees, just only a very few. I wasn't really worried about doing the trees on camera. I decided to do them off camera, but I did most of the area on camera, just by working on the buildings, working on the houses, all of the bars, restaurants, all of those buildings. I did had a bit of trouble. I struggled on how to figure out how I should draw these homes or houses. I decided to draw the row buildings and just a few mansions for the area of Chinese Quarter. But overall, generally the area that I worked on, it was pretty freaking easy for me to do. And in the next episode of TIAC is probably gonna be a very similar treatment that I'm gonna go through. We done. Alright, nerds. We got the finished area of Chinese Quarter. We got some museums located. Not too many museums, actually, just only some, maybe about, 3 or 4. Convention Center. It's called Michael Jackson Convention Center of TIAC. We got some Chinese-based restaurants, and we got some bars located along this street here. It's called Yiming Street. We got some homes located in this area. We got the train tracks that lead you to underground. We got some hotels. Here's one hotel, and here's another one. It's a hotel and resort of Chinese Quarter, everyone. Here it is. Well, nerds, that is going to be the end of this episode of TIAC. Stay tuned for more content. I hope this was pretty enjoyable to watch, and I will catch each and every one of you nerds later, so thanks for watching.